What's up? Welcome to the complete step-by-step walkthrough guide on how to file your income tax in Malaysia. This is the second part of the series. In our first video, we talked about how to prepare to file for your income tax. What are the things that you need to know so that you don't file it wrongly and get the tax man knocking on your door with a penalty. If you haven't watched that video yet, just go and check it out. We have attached a link in the description below, or you can click here to find out about that video. You can pause this video and go and watch it first. Now, however, if you've done it before and you're ready, you just need a reminder on how to walk through this. This is the right video for you, so just continue on. Let's not waste time. First step, go to easy.hasil.gov.my, fill up your details. Then in this page here, go to the e-filing part and select e-borang. Now you have three choices here. One is called EBE form, one is an EB form, and one is an EBT form. Now if you are an employee and you do not have a business income, you can choose EBE form. However, if you have a business income, whether are you an employee with a side hustle or you are a business owner yourself, you have to choose the EB form. We're going to start with walking through the EBE form because generally most of it is the same with a little bit of variation. So let us begin with the EBE form. Go to Tahun Taksiran, select 2021. If you prefer everything to be in English, just go to the top of the page, select English. On the blue banner here, you will notice on the right side, it says tax paid in excess for the year of 2021. That amount there will reflect the same amount that you have paid for tax in advance. You know that PCB that you're paying for every month that is deducted from your monthly salary? Yes, that is your tax payment in advance. The total amount that's paid will be reflected here. On this first page, the most important thing is to check all your particulars. Make sure it's all correct. Now, if you have made sure that everything is correct, you need to go to the type of assessment and select the type of assessment you wish to file for. If you're single, there's not much of choice. If you're married, you can choose to either file separate or join with your spouse. Now, you may be wondering which is a better method. Firstly, like I've said in my first video, there's no straightforward answer. The best way is actually just to prepare your tax in a joint manner and prepare your tax in a separate manner, compare, see which one gives you the most saving and choose that one. However, as a rule of thumb, for people who are earning a high income, it is better to just file separately. If everything is fine and correct, just click next. Then you'll be at the next page where it has your other particulars. Here you need to make sure that all your information is correct, such as your phone number, your email, and so on. There will also be a few questions, such as do you have a financial account in institution outside of Malaysia? That means that if you have a bank account in Singapore or Thailand or trading account elsewhere, you should fill yes for this. And the other one is disposal of asset. It means that if you have sold any properties last year, you will need to declare it. Then you need to choose the method of payment of tax refund. This is in case when there's excess in payment for your tax, how government is gonna repay you, whether is it through Do It Now or directly to your bank account. If you select payment via bank account, naturally you're gonna fill up the necessary information. But if you select Do It Now, then it's just your IC, which is already filled up. Now the next part is incentive claim. For this part, usually I tell people this, if you know you have it, then you will know what to click in. But if you don't know, then you just don't know. But nonetheless, I would assume that some people actually just do not know. So the best way to find out if you're entitled for it is to click this appendix here and read all the types of incentive or exempted tab or the exempted income category. If you have any income that falls in any of these categories, make sure you key in the code in the column. Once you're done, click next. Here you will need to declare your statutory income and total income. Remember in our previous video we talked about the EA form? Here is where you need to pull out your EA form and get all the information necessary. In your EA form, it will state clearly what's the total remuneration that you receive from your employer. All you need to do is key in that number here. For me, I'm just going to key in a random number right now. The number of employment can also be found in your EA form. Now, the next line item is the statutory income from rent. This means if you're a landlord, you have any properties that are rented out to people and you're receiving an income from rental, make sure you declare that income. Assuming if you have two properties and it is being rented out at 2,000 ringgit a month in total, take that monthly rental income times 12, which is 1 year, in this case 24,000, and key in that number into this column. If you have any recognize statutory income from interest, discount, royalty, premiums, and so on and so forth, you also gotta declare those income as well. The next part is less approved investment under angel investor tax incentive. Now, if you have done any angel investing in the past year, you can actually claim for a tax relief, and the amount must not be less than 5,000 and must not be more than 500,000 ringgit as well. I believe if you have done any of this angel investing, you probably can talk to a lawyer or something like that. They will guide you through this process. The next part is on approved donation and gifts. This is if you have made any donation or gift to any government approved charitable organization or government directly, and if you kept the receipt, then you're entitled for the claim. So if you've done that, just click and fill it up. One more thing here is non-employment income of preceding years not declared. This part is if you've done any side hustle and you did not declare it, government is telling you can declare it right now in those previous years that you didn't tell us. So yes, if you have earned any money from a part-time income such as maybe Grab driving or did some freelance work, you should key it in here. Once you have done that, click next. If you'll notice, once you have clicked next in this page on relief, you will see the number on the right side of the blue banner change. Now it says the balance of tax payable for the year of assessment 2021, and I have more that I need to pay. Here in this page, our goal is simple: to reduce that amount legally so that you can save money. The first line is about medical treatment and special needs for parents. So if let's say you've hired someone to take care of your parents, like a private nurse, or paid for your parents' medical treatment, make sure you keep the receipt and you can claim up to 8,000 ringgit. Now, but remember this, some of you may have siblings, so if let's say your siblings took the receipt and claimed for it, then you can't use the same receipt. So please discuss with your sibling who take which bill. Alright. The next one is basic supporting equipment for disabled self or spouse or child or parents. So if you have a parent that's on a wheelchair, or you have a child that has some special needs, or you yourself need any form of supporting equipment, here's where you can claim up to 6,000 ringgit. And for the next line is disabled individual. Basically, if you are OKU, you are entitled to another 6,000 ringgit tax relief. The next part is for education fee. And take note, it's for yourself, not for your children or anyone else. The first one, if you have signed up for a master or doctorate degree or a professional course in studying law, accounting and stuff like that, you are entitled for a deduction of up to 7,000 ringgit. The next one is for course of study undertaken for the purpose of upskilling or self-enhancement. If you have taken any of it, just key it in. The next part is for medical expenses. The first line is for serious illnesses for self, for spouse, or for children. So if let's say your kid or your spouse or yourself have been admitted into hospital due to some serious illnesses, you can key in that amount here. The next one is for fertility treatment. So if let's say you've done any form of IVF or something like that, you can actually key in that amount as well. And the last part is for vaccination for self, for spouse, and for child. So for some of you, you actually paid for your own vaccination last year. Here's where you can claim this amount. Now, one more part is the expenses on complete medical examination and COVID tests. So if you have done any full body checkup, medical examination, or you have bought any COVID test kit, here is where you can claim for up to 1,000 ringgit. The total amount that can be relieved in this category is 8,000 ringgit. Then the next part is lifestyle tax relief. For lifestyle tax relief is basically the purchase and subscription of any books or journal, magazines, newspaper, even electronic subscription or publications, right? So for example, I subscribe for Script, or like you subscribe to Age or something like that. All these you can use for tax relief. This also includes purchasing of personal computer, smartphone or tablet that are not for business use, and sports equipment, and also monthly internet subscription. So yes, if you have been paying for Unify or your Maxis Fiber or whatnot, here's where you can use it for tax relief. There's also another additional relief for use of benefit for self. Basically, it's for the purchase of sports equipment or any entrance fee to any sport facility, your court rental, you can claim tax. Or if you have signed up for any form of competition, those registration fee can be used to claim tax as well. Then the next one is the purchase of technology gadgets such as personal computer, smartphone, and so on and so forth. This one you can claim up to 2,500 again. The next item is for childcare fee. If you have a kid that's 6 years old and below and you send them for kindergarten or any form of childcare, you can claim up to 3,000 ringgit. The next one is for SSPN. So if you have been saving in SSPN, you are entitled for another 8,000 ringgit claim. Now the next one is if you are divorced and you're paying alimony to your former wife, you are entitled to another 4,000 ringgit tax deduction. And finally, if your spouse is disabled, you are entitled to another 5,000 ringgit tax deduction. And the next part here is for the information of your children. Just key in the number of children you have. For me, I have 2 kids who are under 18 years old, so I'll just put 2. Since I'm filing tax separately, I will key in the left side, which is for 100% eligibility. But if you're doing a tax filing joint with your spouse, key in on the right side, which is 50% eligibility. Next part is life insurance and EPF. If you're a government servant, you can select the pensionable public servant category, or if you're working in the private sector, just tick other than pensionable public servant category. The first item is for life insurance premium. You can claim up to 3,000 ringgit. This one, you need to check your life insurance statement. They will tell you specifically how much you can claim for that. The next one is for contribution of EPF and approved scheme. This is up to 4,000 ringgit. The next one is for PRS and deferred annuity. This one you can claim up to 3,000 ringgit. So if you sign up for any form of PRS, take your statement, refer to that and fill in the number. And the remaining is for education, contribution to SOCSO, and domestic tourism expenses. So if you're spent on any of that, make sure you keep the receipt and fill in the numbers here. Finally, is for the last part of rebate and tax deduction. This is if you are a Muslim and you have actually went to Umrah traveling or religious travel for any other religion, you are entitled for tax deduction for 2 trips in a lifetime. Just fill in the relevant information and click next. For me, I've not been to any religious traveling before, so I'm just going to leave it blank. On the last part, they will show you a summary. In this case here, it shows me my total income, which is 102,000. This includes the rental income that I filled in earlier. Remember, all these are just pseudo number, it's not my income. I'm just filling it for an example for you. Then they will show you the total relief that you have filled in, which is 41,000 in total. And then the final part comes out is your chargeable income. If you look at the next part is the income tax computation. It will show us the tax bracket. Based on the tax bracket, the first 50,000 of my chargeable income, I'm supposed to pay 1,800 ringgit. And then on the balance of 10,096 ringgit, I'm supposed to be charged a tax rate of 13%, which is 1,312.48. So my total income tax that I need to pay is 3,112.48 cents. Since I've not paid for any zakat or umrah traveling, my tax deduction here is 0. But if you've done any of that, they will further minus from here. Finally, under the column of total tax charge, you will see tax payable for the year of assessment 2021. In this case here, it shows 3,112, and you will minus off the excess tax that you have paid. Remember, we talked about the advance tax that you have paid through PCB, so they're going to minus that off. And finally, it will show you the tax paid in excess for the year of assessment. If you need to pay more tax, they will show you how much more you need to pay. Once you're done with that, just click next. And once you confirm all these details, make sure that your name and IC number is correct and the date is correct. Then what you need to do is print draft. Make sure you print the draft so you keep a copy of what you have filed. Then click sign and submit. Now that's it, you're done. You filed your income tax. Now if you have paid your income tax in excess, you just need to wait. They will bang in the money to you eventually. Sometimes it's pretty fast, sometimes it takes a while, but you're going to receive your money. However, if you have more to pay for your income tax, then now you need to make payment for your income tax. I hope you enjoyed this 2-part series. In the first part, we talked about how to prepare. By now, I hope you understand why you need to prepare for tax filing. If you did not keep all your receipts and you did not prepare yourself, you may find it hard to fill up all these things. Now, one of the good practice that you can have is actually before you file your tax, compile all your receipts, tabulate what's the total amount you can claim under each category. So when you do your tax filing, it'll be much more convenient and you won't feel too lost on what should you key in. And one more thing just to remind you is to make sure that all your spending is supported by a copy of the receipt. You may not have the physical receipt with you. If you don't have it, it's okay. Make sure you have a scanned copy or either a picture of it and keep it in the folder. Because do remember that LHDN reserves the right to check your tax for up to 7 years. I'm pretty sure even if you keep the physical faded. So make sure you have a scanned copy. Now that's all about it in our 2-part series. Just save the video because I know that every year you need to go through with your tax filing again. Save it, and then whenever you need to do your tax filing, just refer back to these 2 videos and do your tax filing all over again. Now if you enjoyed this kind of walkthrough content, let us know in the comment what would you like us to walk you through next.